Welcome to the Reinvention, a new way to plan for retirement. The concepts and realities of what is traditionally called retirement are changing. The reinvention of retirement now involves the blending together of personal goals and financial realities with the wide range of choices that did not exist for previous generations. This seminar offers a process for creating a fulfilling retirement experience and a process for stress testing one's hopes, dreams, and fears. The objective is to lend new insights and tools to explore possibilities for your retirement plan. This seminar discusses 4 aspects of personal zone experience: financial stress testing, different options for retirement housing and lifestyle choices. This Worksite Financial Solutions seminar is offered through your employer and your retirement plan advisor. Worksite Financial Solutions is a guidance-based, beginning-to-end retirement solution designed to help you create confidence in your financial life. The Worksite Suite offerings includes workplace education that's tailored to your unique needs and profile. It's also supported by a qualified LPL financial advisor who's committed to providing you with unified, coordinated advice. Whether you're joining the plan for the first time, accumulating assets, or seeking help with a career transition, Worksite Financial Solutions pulls all aspects of your finances into a single, manageable focus that will help you save time. 100 years ago, the concept of retirement didn't exist. We started working at the age of 15, usually at a job that required physical labor, and statistically, we died at 47. There were no assisted living facilities with step-up or step-down care, so we simply didn't live that long to need them. As jobs changed, life expectancy grew, sanitation and medical care advanced, and social patterns developed. So did the concept of retirement. Retirement's a relatively new concept that was viewed as the time when work ended and relaxation and winding down into the twilight of life gracefully occurred. People looked forward to the day they'd stop working, and they worked hard with that day in mind. Since its arrival on the scene, though, and particularly over the last decade or two, the definition of retirement has changed a lot, and the change will likely continue. These days, if you ask a room full of 60-somethings what retirement means to them, you're likely to get a handful of answers that vary. Here's some of the new retirement trends we recognize for today and tomorrow. First, there's working retirement, for people who must continue to work for financial reasons. They can't afford not to work and could very well be quite unhappy about that reality. Let's face it, for many people, their retirement choice isn't really a choice because of the economy. And since 2008, you can be sure that there are a whole lot of 60-year-olds who've since altered their plans for the next decade. Next, there are those who choose a working retirement. They have no intention of slowing down and stopping what they do day to day. They want activity and purpose and know that they have many good years of productivity still left in them. They might even love their jobs. Then there are the people who are making a change. They're using the idea of retirement to look forward with enthusiasm. These are the people who talk about reinventing themselves. They'll likely leave their current career and do something different, maybe even the thing they always wanted to do, but for whatever reason never pursued. Maybe they'll do a number of different things as they grow older and find new people, places, activities, and causes that interest them. They make more creative, dynamic choices than ever before. Part of our purpose today is to help everyone see retirement the way that last group does, as an opportunity for reinvention. We're reinventing retirement planning so you can reinvent who you'll be when you get there. According to a 2010 Dell Web Baby Boomer survey, Key Trends in Baby Boomers Working in Retirement, the vast majority of both those planning for retirement and those already in retirement are planning to include, or continue to include, working as part of their lives. Among young boomers, 72% plan to work. For older boomers not yet retired, 74% plan to work. In the 1996 survey, 68% of the 50-year-olds surveyed said they plan to work. Meanwhile, today's 50-year-old boomer anticipates retiring 4 years later. 50-year-olds in 1996 planned to retire at 63, but today they plan to retire at 67. Of those turning 50 in the current survey, 54% anticipate retiring from their primary career after age 65. Of those turning 64 and still working, 8% plan to retire over the next few years, and 74% after the age of 65. 14% of 50-year-olds and 18% of 64-year-olds who are still working don't anticipate retiring. The trend is to work longer and quite possibly continue working during the chapter of life currently called retirement. Why work during retirement? As you might imagine, finances are a common reason, especially today. But other top reasons are fulfillment and fun. Most of us know someone, maybe even a parent, who retired and then got bored and felt useless. Working wards off boredom and helps keep you busy. It provides a schedule, a bit of structure in your day, and some level of predictability. Might even be fun. And even if it isn't, it's satisfying to know you're being productive and contributing to something. The experience of becoming financially secure gave Joanne and me an incredible feeling of satisfaction. Of course, we didn't really retire. We used our free time to read and write, go sailing, spend time with our children, and become involved in the local theater, a private school, and church work. This is taken from a real-life couple who retired early, moved to Bahamas with their 2 kids. Notice how it describes the experience of retirement, and it's clear that it's rewarding and why. It's so rewarding that they don't think about it like it's retirement. Financial security made the experience of what they refer to as not really retiring possible. The money's part of the story, but it's not the theme. The idea that an enjoyable, happy retirement isn't really retirement tells us that we need some new language to frame this concept. Right now, in general, the term retire is used to refer to go away or to withdraw into a private, secluded place. It means to go to bed or to sleep. It means to retreat or give ground in battle. Furthermore, it means to give up one's work, business, career, etc., especially because of advanced age. None of this is particularly positive. None of it is really something to look forward to. But right here, right now, you have the opportunity to rethink, revisit, and reinvigorate your personal goals and ideas for the next stage of life, post-career. We use the term reinvent because you're going to reinvent yourself as well as your perception of retirement. You're going to be the creator of something uniquely yours, customized to your unique intentions and capabilities. And you're going to make room for change and get friendly with the idea of adapting to whatever comes your way. This isn't your parents' idea of retirement. Reinvention is when your personal desires meet your financial realities and you map out various scenarios to choose from, paying particular attention to where you plan to call home. Let's get started. The elements of a personal life that have been shown to be vital to happiness are the 3 C's: community, control, and contribution. Community is the social component. We all know retired people who have retired in more than one way. They've retreated from life. Control is integral because you need to be independent and be the boss of your income, your health care, your insurance, and even your schedule. When you're in that space of autonomy, you don't feel constraints, and you're more likely to make decisions for the right reasons. And you have the ability to make changes and adjustments when needed. And finally, it's crucial to have a purpose and to know that you're part of something bigger than you that's meaningful to you. Contribution can involve money, but it can also involve the donation of time. Volunteering your time or expertise actually raises your happiness set point. Helping others increases personal satisfaction and happiness, as I'm sure you've all experienced. Let's take a closer look at the 3 C's in greater detail and the one thing they have in common. Community. Building community doesn't come naturally to everyone, and some people have to try hard in the initial phases. Intention is a big part of building community. When much of your time is scheduled by someone else due to your work situation, you might not even give community any thought. Listed here are some suggestions to engage with your surrounding community. From volunteering to joining a local club or social organization, there are a handful of things you can do to get involved. The second of the 3 C's of the personal component of your planning is control. This is about living on your terms and being able to live on your own terms. It's about having control over your health care and your finances. It's about having the health care and insurance you need in addition to the cash flow necessary for the life you've chosen. It's about having control over your time, whereas before your time was dictated by others. It's also about earning ability and deciding whether or not you wish to earn more. As with community, it's about intention, about deliberate decision-making. Obviously, financial stability is important here, so money's a silent partner. But this isn't about money. Money may make independence and control possible, but this is about designing the terms of your life. We'll get into the money part in a bit. Contribution is the third of the 3 C's of the personal part of your life that puts you on a path toward greater happiness during your reinvention. In Gene D. Cohen's book, The Mature Mind, The Positive Power of the Aging Brain, Cohen writes of his year-long study of modern retirement. He believes that the most thought-provoking question he asked about modern retirement was, what gives you a sense of meaning or purpose in life? After analyzing the results of the surveys the participants completed, Cohen was able to make conclusions he called lessons. One of those lessons, number 7, was based on the above question. The universal response to the question about what gives retirees a sense of purpose was making a contribution and helping others. The importance of giving back, that 7th lesson learned about modern retirement, highlights the impulse humans have to contribute to the greater good. This impulse becomes especially acute in later life. The respondents of the surveys who were most satisfied with the years after they stopped their traditional jobs were those who found out ways to give back. Again, intention drives this component. What kind of contribution do you want to make? Let's look at how the 3 C's are put into action with a flow experience chart. Think of flow as a sustained feeling of connection and vitality. Psychologists tell us that routine activities with social contact that are challenging but doable and have measurable achievement tend to give us a flow experience. Many people have this for their entire working career. Think about your own routine of coming to work, interacting with your colleagues, doing work that challenges you with some way of measuring results. As you embrace the idea of reinventing life after work, think about activities that have the required ingredients of flow. Many can be enjoyed now and be in place when you retire. You'll get a worksheet just like this to take home. Make a list of your activities, how often you do them, whether they involve other people, if they're challenging, and if they're measurable. If you have a spouse, you'll ask them to do the same. When you've completed the chart, you should have mostly yeses. If you don't, you'll want to redo things. Don't hesitate to add more activities or make copies and have 2 charts. Here are some tips. Couples may need to work on this before and after they retire. It can be done together, separately, or both. If you enjoy golf, it could qualify, but if you do it without planning on ever improving, it's not a great choice. Volunteering is good, but make sure it's challenging and measurable, and not just social and routine. It's good to get in the habit of creating a calendar to keep track of all of your commitments. Don't let the stress of double booking or missing an event take away from your flow experience. The next slide is an activity chart for a newly retired couple. You'll see that she was a bit ahead when it came to creating flow. Meanwhile, he worried about the markets, missed his colleagues, and watched a lot of television. Here's what that looks like. Do you see how different the charts are? This is a couple a year into the seemingly perfect retirement they thought they'd love. He golfs, but again, he's not on pace to improve. He doesn't really care about his game. He watches a lot of television, which isn't social and doesn't involve any kind of process or goal. He had flow when he was working, but in retirement he completely lost it and wasn't doing much to regain it. This couple decided to volunteer as reading tutors, and that gave them a new world of people and also challenges that were measurable. Eventually, he found that he had a skill for helping people and worked toward being a mentor, and then spent years helping people. He still played golf and went out to dinner, but he had something he excelled in that created a new meaning for his life. They also started race walking, which brought yet another group of people into their lives. They weren't that competitive, but they did participate, kept in shape, and had a lot of fun. What will your chart look like? Work provides purpose, routine, measurement, and camaraderie. Retirement can be daunting and isolating, but it doesn't have to be. If you intend to be otherwise and make the appropriate decisions, you can spend your retirement years reinventing yourself again and again. Reinvent the idea of retirement. Bring back the vigor and passion. Get in better mental and physical shape. Stop worrying and get excited. Find new people to connect with and to spend time with. Spend time making a difference. Have more fun. The next step in your reinvention is to factor in your financial realities and better hone in your list of possibilities. Even the best planned retirement has unexpected curveballs of opportunities and challenges. The financial markets change, people change, the cost of living changes, new hobbies are discovered, and ways to live are discovered. New places to travel and new things to learn also emerge when you have more time and attention to notice and consider possibilities. Though there are many parts of your life that you can't control, you can develop the ability to adapt and control how you respond to change. We use what we call stress testing to assess whether your financial situation can adequately support your personal choices. We frequently say that you can't have everything you want for your reinvention, but you can have anything. And that's where trade-offs come in. Think about it. If you just went for it and started to do everything you dreamed about and you didn't have adequate financial resources, obviously you'd run into problem and out of money eventually, if not sooner. So get realistic. Learn how to and get good at making trade-offs. Keep yourself in good financial shape while honoring and implementing your plans for reinvention. And finally, count on change, as there's nothing more constant. Here's an example. Jake's brother retired 10 years ago. They live in the same area with similar interests. So Jake asked him the big retirement question he couldn't stop thinking about. How much money do you really need to retire? His brother didn't hesitate. First, you need the money the professionals say you need, and then you need something money apparently can't buy, the ability to live with less. Jake's brother said, I would have gone back to work if I hadn't learned to cut back and still have a good time. Maybe I'll go back to spending more once I feel more confident about my investments, but maybe not. I kind of like how things are now. I never thought I'd say that. Sometimes the list of what I feel I can have gets pretty short. But if I get creative and keep running the numbers through scenarios, I usually can figure out how to make something great out of a lot less than I thought I'd need. Stress testing is about getting your numbers in the best possible shape and continuing to exercise your adaptability. Let's get into exactly what that looks like. Stress testing is used to determine stability under defined conditions and isn't unique to personal financial planning. It's also done in medicine and software development, and in the risk management world, consultants do it with corporate clients as well. The idea is to go through 3 scenarios that will eventually aid in decision making: best case, most likely, and worst case. You go through the worst case first and figure out what you need to do to manage all the risks associated with that least desirable scenario. Covering the worst case frees up attention to work toward the best case. Your financial facts are the variables you'll play with when calculating the various possibilities that might occur. That's when you ask all of the what if and how much questions and come up with ways to adapt if the what ifs occur. If you're a do-it-yourselfer, you probably already know that you can find many online calculators from companies, such as the Motley Fool at Fool.com. That and other calculators are great tools, but used alone, they don't provide you with organized and comprehensive information you need to make decisions. Let's dive a little deeper into stress testing. Here's the process in a nutshell. Define your ideal scenario, your desired set of circumstances and why they're important to you. Next, identify all of the variables, the financial facts that you'll track: investments, retirement accounts, post-retirement income, Social Security, and expenses. Then, run projections to test long-term outcomes. Make sure to write everything down the entire time. Now, let's take a step further into the details. Stress testing begins with the description of your ideal scenario. Before you put your numbers to your dreams by running cash flow and long-term net worth projections, you'll write a brief description of what you want and why it's important to you. You'll include what you want to be doing, where you want to be living, who you want to spend your time with, and what you imagine your finances to look like. We'll devote some time specifically to housing and housing lifestyle choices in a moment. So if you're not clear on that part right now, you likely will be by the end. For example, we want to stop working in 8 years with the mortgage paid off. It's always been our dream to spend our twilight years in this house. We'd also like to pay off our children's student loans if we can. Once we leave our corporate jobs, we each want to have part-time jobs doing what we love. For me, that means being a substitute teacher. We'll use our part-time income for serious vacations and free time with our grandchildren. Here's another example. I want to retire in 10 years, sell my house, and move to a foreign country, maybe Costa Rica. The cost of living is low, and my friends and family will enjoy visiting. I'd also like to buy a small condo in the States near the university. I can rent it out if I need the income, or I can come back now and then to enjoy the music and lectures. Now, on to financial facts. Step 2 involves financial facts and assumptions. The idea is to use numbers and assumptions that feel probable. Numbers will change, the timeline may change, and of course, the economy will change too. Assets include retirement accounts, non-retirement accounts, and equity in real estate you might sell. Income includes pensions, Social Security, and earnings. Expenses include housing, healthcare, entertainment, hobbies, travel, and education. Timelines that need to be considered include how much longer you'll work, how long you'll live, statistically of course, how long you'll work part-time, and how long you'll keep your house. Finally, inflation and tax assumptions need to be stated. When all that's written down, you're off to step 3. Running scenarios will require some help in the form of a calculator. If you're super fantastic with financial calculations, you might be able to do this yourself, but I'd strongly recommend checking your results with a financial planner. You can also use one of the many online calculators, such as the one the Motley Fool offers at Fool.com. Once you get the hang of running various scenarios, you'll see how the financial facts and assumptions work together. Change one, and you'll get a different output. The most important thing to remember is to number and track your projections. For example, remember the move to Costa Rica scenario? She wanted to retire in 10 years, sell her house, and move to a foreign country, maybe Costa Rica. She liked the lower cost of living and the idea of friends visiting. When she stress tests her scenario, she might test retiring in 8 years, 10 years, and 12 years. Next, she might test different real estate values, how much she gets for her house, and the cost of a home in Costa Rica. It will get really confusing if she doesn't use a system of testing and keep track of the results. The best practice advice is to start with a baseline scenario with the most likely numbers and timelines. Number the baseline scenario number 1. Next, change the retirement date to 8 years and number that scenario number 2. You can see where I'm going with this. Make changes to one variable at a time. Don't change retirement dates and real estate values in the same scenario. Some tips for stress testing your financial facts include your use of conservative assumptions, meaning assume expenses are higher than you expect. Make modest investment return assumptions, as it's better to err on the side of making less money than more. And maybe throw in higher inflation and taxes, just to see how they change your results. Again, there's a calculator at motleyfool.com, and there are many others. But remember that the calculator is just a tool. It's not tracking the results and making a whole host of comparisons or making any decisions. Tracking your calculations, no matter how you do them, is when the most attractive possibilities will begin to emerge. If you hire a financial planner, be sure to bring your written scenario as well as your numbers, also written down, to make sure you're both operating on all of the same assumptions. And be sure to keep your own records of the output so you can compare the projections and help make your decisions. And be sure to keep your own records of the output so you can compare the projections and help you make your decisions. When you're stress testing, the obvious questions are those of the how much variety, such as how much house can I afford? How much do I need to save? How much can I spend? How much income can we count on from investments? How much can I give away? How much insurance do I need? How much will I need for my kids' education? How much money will you have at a specific age? Then there are the what-if questions that arise from switching things around, such as, what if I change careers and earn less money? What if I take some of my retirement money to invest in my professional development? What if I retire soon and start working part-time? How long will money last? What if the stock market goes down? What if I don't get the lump sum from inheritance, from the sale of a business? What if I get sick? And of course, there are the can I afford questions, and the possibilities here are endless, including, can I afford the big vacation? The expensive car? Let's map this all out and see what the steps look like in action. Use a worksheet like this one to organize your reinvention scenarios. The key is to set up a systematic process that helps you organize and keep track. Over time, you'll want to test many different scenarios. You might even run into each scenario several times, and you might come back to some of them over and over again with new information and priorities. Once you've done your stress testing, you're off to make actual decisions based on your results. The most expensive single purchase or part of most people's budget is their home. Back in the old days, the decision regarding where to live went like this. Do you want to stay in the house once it's paid off, or move to Florida? But builders and other parties who serve the burgeoning numbers of baby boomers hitting retirement are now offering more options than ever, and some of them look nothing like traditional retirement communities. With options often come difficulties in decision making. Know that this isn't a decision to make hastily. Plus, you should do your research, which can include multiple visits or even renting in the community you think's best for you. The list we're about to go through is by no means exhaustive, but should give you an idea of the wide variety of ways and places to live while you reinvent yourself. First, we have university retirement communities. College towns have always been appealing for seniors who want to stay intellectually curious, but now universities are setting up retirement communities nearby. The program started as a way to keep alumni involved, but they've since expanded to a broader group. Cornell, Duke, University of Michigan, Penn State, and Stanford all have retiree populations. Canada's first project of this type, University of Guelph's Village by the Arboretum, is complete and its condos are on the market. Next, we have the NORC, or Naturally Occurring Retirement Community. This is when so many seniors live in a building or neighborhood, it naturally becomes a retirement community. Instead of forcing seniors out, the government brings services to the community. New York City has 28 NORCs that house a total of about 50,000 seniors, and the Department of Housing and Urban Development plans to create more NORCs. Third is pet-friendly retirement housing. Seniors used to have to face a wrenching choice between getting the care they need and continuing to care for their pets. With the elevated place of pets in the family and research showing the medical benefits of having them, many retirement communities are allowing dogs and cats to move in and even using this as a sales point. RetirementHomes.com is very helpful here because it allows customers search by keyword. If your favorite place is the golf club, why not just live there? That's what more and more seniors are doing. Many traditional developers have special brands for seniors, often centered on a community golf course. These communities tend to be out in the exurbs and have lots of sprawling space. But not all seniors like to golf, so retirement communities are popping up that offer other kinds of leisure. For example, boating is popular everywhere. Oregon offers many independent living communities where people can hike and bike. One in Alabama boasts of hunting. A Connecticut facility has birding. There's something for everyone. The Villages is a well-known golf community in Florida, boasting the largest number of golf carts per capita in the country. More familiar to everyone is the assisted living facility. 9 out of 10 Americans say they don't want to move when they retire, according to a 2006 report by AARP. They may be mentally fit, but need help with certain errands or need some medical attention. A geriatric care manager assesses their changing needs and coordinates help. A little less familiar to many people is the urban retirement. A big suburban house and yard can be a hassle when you're older. So, some retirees who have the money and the cultural inclination are moving downtown. They voluntarily give up their car, and gas costs and car maintenance and insurance costs, by the way, because it's much easier to walk anywhere they want to go or take public transportation. 9 is an example of power in numbers. The residents of the Beacon Hill neighborhood in Boston are serving as beacon for seniors around the country. In 2002, they formed a kind of senior services co-op. If you're over 50, you can pay and get help with household services, wellness and assisted living services, transportation, and fun field trips. Cities around the country, including Washington, D.C., are following their example. Retirement communities don't have to be planned and created by someone else. You can do it yourself. Here's something most people don't have as part of their plans: retiring with the kids. For some people, this may be the only financially viable option. Some dread it, but others do relish the opportunity for a multi-generation household. A 2007 USA Today ABC News poll found that 8% of baby boomers say a parent lives with them, and another 8% say their parents live with another relative. For baby boomers, a second home often serves many purposes. They go there themselves for fun, but also rent it out to pay the mortgage and then hope to retire there someday. According to a 2006 survey by the U.S. National Association of Realtors, 21% of people who buy a vacation home plan to move there eventually. Finally, retirees return to work either because they get bored or need the money. According to a recent survey by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, 15.7% of those 65 and over are working, and 7% of those 75 and over are employed. In a 2005 cross-cultural study, the AARP found that only 14% of Americans, less than any other country surveyed, plan to stop working completely in retirement. Now that we've explored how different retirement can be from what it originally was, how will you reinvent yourself once you end your current full-time career? Will it be at age 65, 70, maybe 55, or maybe never really end working, just change it up as you go? And now there's this new idea of purposeful leisure, of not working at a paying job, but doing something meaningful with your time and money, while also focusing on rejuvenation and regeneration. Reinvention is about embracing change and adapting to curveballs and taking it all in stride, because you've examined so many options that there's always some way you can make it all work. And of course, it's about being able to enjoy yourself, because you know that you have what you need and at least some of what you want.